think everything is under control. The people who came to do these activities, from the records, we believe that they belong to a particular group, and most likely they are Boko Haram, because we have sizable number of Boko Harams that are in detention, and presently we could not locate any.
Ovigwe Eguegu is the co-founder of geopolitical analysis group Afripolitika, joins us now live. Ovigwe, there have been several prison attacks like this one in Nigeria. Does it demonstrate just how strong militant groups like Boko Haram are?
I think one of the clear takeaways from this attack is just the vulnerability of even the state capital itself to this type of attacks. Because if you've been following the issue of security and terrorism in Nigeria, when we're talking about Boko Haram, it's usually confined to the northeast of the country. But in recent times, we've been seeing proliferation of banditry in north central, and Abuja being in the central of the country. Now it's also suffering this type of attack. So not very long ago, the last week or 2 weeks ago, we saw an attack in a nearby state to Abuja, which Niger State, which is just a neighboring state. In Abuja, 30 soldiers were killed. So and 4 experts were kidnapped. So today's attack, to a large extent, it as shocking as it is, it doesn't really surprise analysts and observers of security, because progressively over the last couple of years, the attacks have been spreading from the northeast to the north central, and now we're seeing it in Abuja.
And why is the government, the president, the armed forces, why are they unable to deal with this rising violence?
I think for a multiplicity of factors. First of all, you have to understand that we have a security architecture that is grossly understaffed, or they are outgunned and stretched out across the entire country. Because, like I earlier mentioned, we have Boko Haram in the northeast, banditry in the northwest. In the southeast, we have like a militancy and secessionism. And then in the south, some militancy as well in the south. So there's a lot on their plate. But despite the increased demand placed on the military and police force, we've not seen a commensurate increase in manpower. For instance, in the latest figure shows that Nigeria has 187 policemen per 100,000 people. That is very low, even by the continent standard, because, for instance, a country like South Africa has 345. Global average is 400. So if you look at the dynamics within the country, and that gap in personnel means that you cannot predict, you cannot preempt, and when these attacks happen, you can't even contain it in a very short amount of time. This attack in the prison going on for about an hour. Some people are even saying even longer. So that is only possible because of the kind of under-policing that I'm talking about. So aside of the under-policing issue, there is also a problem with an emboldened spirit from Boko Haram, because even if it has lost territory in the northeast, it's able to spread itself across the country and makes it even more agile and less predictable. So it can carry out attacks on soft targets, and even showing that it can carry out attacks on hard targets, like the prison. So there's a lot on the plate of the president and the security. And now we're facing elections next year. We will need to really rethink our security architecture in the country.
There's some evidence that different militant groups are actually joining forces across different parts of Nigeria. They're joining forces in order to carry out more attacks. There is clearly a huge security challenge in Nigeria. So how worried are people? How much optimism do they have in their government that this is something that can be tackled?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the fragmentation of non-state armed groups in Nigeria makes it a very complex situation. Because if we're just dealing with just Boko Haram, then you don't really need a lot to do in terms of strategic planning. But when you start having diverse groups all over the place, it's very problematic. And it's even more problematic when these groups are beginning to to merge, as we're seeing with so-called banditry and Boko Haram in the northwest. So, however, when the public sentiment towards security, it's not just even about Boko Haram, it's the general dissatisfaction with the performance of the government. So whether in the area of economics, and just performance of development wise, and also with security. So what we now have is a near, I would say, a near collapse of confidence in the state. So even now, as I speak to you, if you read through what Nigerians are saying on Twitter, it's just a question of what is going to happen when the next government comes in, because there's almost no confidence in the current government, and that is very problematic. And already the two frontrunners for the next year's election, they have to really work on improving public confidence in the state, and not just confidence in the state, but also build capacity in the military and security forces. And that for me, it represents the biggest challenge for whoever will emerge the president next year.
Ovigwe Eguegu, thank you very much indeed for your analysis there.